38 Fresno Street. This meeting will be held in accordance with the Ralph M. Brown Act and the Federal Americans with Disabilities Act. We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Lord, as we gather here today for this meeting, we humbly ask you for your guidance and wisdom. May our discussions be filled with respect, open minds, and a collaborative spirit. Help us to listen attentively to one another and make decisions that align with your will. We thank you for bringing us together today and for the opportunity to work together as a team. Amen.
Okay, roll call. Councilmember Hardin is not here. Mayor Graham is not here tonight. Councilmember Pimentel.
Here.
And Councilmember Tomlinson.
Here.
Does anybody have any declarations of conflicts of interest tonight? Seeing none. Ceremonial matters, we do not have any. Items from the public, non-agenda items. While the City Council welcomes and encourages participation in the meetings, it would be appreciated if you would limit your comments to 3 minutes so that everyone may be heard. Matters under the jurisdiction of the Council and not on the posted agenda may be addressed by the general public at this time. California law prohibits the Council from taking action on any matter which is not posted on the agenda unless determined to be an emergency.
Mayor Pro Tem, would you just mind moving your mic a little bit closer to you? Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Any member of the audience desiring to address the council on a matter on the agenda, please raise your hand or step to the podium at the time the item is announced by the mayor. In order that all interested parties have an opportunity to speak, any person addressing the council will be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes unless the mayor grants a longer period of time. Please state your name and address for the record.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Justin Farkas, representing the Office of Assemblyman Juan Alanis. It's a pleasure to be here with you all again. Thank you for keeping your second Tuesday meeting on schedule this month. We've missed you out here, and I know you guys appreciate brevity, so I won't go into all of the details and turmoil that have been happening up in Sacramento over the past 6 months. But I will give you a brief synopsis of what the Assemblyman's up to. Last Friday, we had our House of Origin deadline, meaning all bills that originated in the Assembly needed to make it over to the Senate by Friday. Of the 16 bills that we introduced, 7 made it over, dealing with transparency in our election system here in California, probation officer exemption from jury duty, handling of sexually explicit evidence and materials in court cases, and a few others as well. What I really wanted to bring up, because I know I've been regularly bringing this up as I've come in, is the LCFS low carbon fuel standard changes that came in November and what we've been doing to work on that. So Governor Newsom did put an indefinite suspension on those LCFS standards earlier this year. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that they won't come back. We did try to pass legislation. We were co-author on a bill, Assembly Bill 12, which would eliminate that LCFS standard, which would increase our gas costs by anywhere from 68 to 85 cents a gallon is what's been projected. However, that bill never got to see its time even in the Natural Resources Committee. Assemblyman Alanis is the vice chair of that committee. And we did attempt to do what's called a WARF without reference to file, meaning we say, forget the committees, let's bring it to the floor for a vote. And unfortunately, our colleagues refused to take up that bill without going through the committee process. So that bill will hopefully be heard again next year. We hope that these low carbon fuel standards will be held back until then so we can take this up again and continue to keep California as affordable as possible, despite some of the actions that you may be seeing that are counterintuitive to that end goal. We're trying the best we can. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
I have a question for you. Has with the new bill that passed, I think it was yesterday, regarding the $500 increase on buying new and used vehicles, that's going to be going to the floor sometime soon. Has Juan put any thoughts on that?
Do you know if it's a Senate bill or an Assembly bill?
I think it goes to the Assembly next.
So it would have, if it made it out, it would have had to have made it out by Friday. So all bills in the Assembly had to make it to the Senate. If you have a bill number for me, I can do some quick research and let you know at the end of the meeting how the stance that we took on that. But I'm not certain exactly. You know, we heard close to 700 bills on Monday and Friday last week. So very busy times. It's hard to keep track of every topic without having that bill number, at least for me specifically.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, item 8, consent calendar. A, waive all readings of ordinances and resolutions except by title. B, approval of warrants. C, approval of minutes of the May 27, 2025 meeting. D, adopt resolution number 2025 accepting the Jensen Road improvements as complete and authorizing the city clerk to record a notice of completion with Stanislaus County and authorizing the city manager to make final payment of retention funds to Rolf Construction 35 days after the notice of completion has been recorded.
Move we adopt the consent calendar.
I second.
We have a first, we have a second. Please vote. My screen is currently off. I'll vote aye.
Nothing.
I'll do a roll call vote. Councilmember Pimentel,
Yes.
Councilmember Tomlinson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ball.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0.
I forgot to ask if there were any comments on the consent calendar or questions. Okay. None. Item 9, public hearings. Adopt resolution number 2025, declaring the existence of a public nuisance under ordinance number 95-4.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. I'm here to declare an existence of a public nuisance under the ordinance number 95-4. This nuisance is at 1343 Clove Court here in the city of Newman. Before you, I'm presenting a few pictures. Those pictures indicate the property owner of when I first initiated contact with this property owner. This is his driveway and I guess you would call side yard. The Newman Municipal Code 8.02030 states, it shall be unlawful for any responsible person to keep or maintain premises under his control or her control in a condition detrimental to the public health, safety, and general welfare, and no responsible person owning, managing, and having control or charge of occupancy of any building, lot, or premises within the city shall permit public nuisances of any kind defined in Chapter 8.0 to remain upon said premises or upon over other public sidewalks, streets, alleys between premises and the center line of any public street or alley. This resident now has stated and has continued to do cleaning with us. He has not finished what the entirety of an abatement is. If you notice, he still has a unpermitted structure, and under that unpermitted structure, he does still store house rubbish, food, and things of that nature that aren't things that are to be stored outside. The public nuisance and violation of the city code are considered harmful and deleterious to the public health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Newman. Unfortunately, this home right now is still non-conforming to its adjacent properties, and it is recommended that we move forward with this nuisance abatement with the thought process that I will continue to work with this property owner for the next month to allow him and give him more time. Now within this month, if he has yet not remediated and fully cleaned up his property, I will move forward with an abatement. But just because the abatement has started and is initiated, we recommend that we approve this abatement.
Okay, any questions? Any public comments or questions?
I do have a question.
Okay.
I was just wondering, compared from that first photo that we see and the second, what was the time lapse between when he started cleaning it? Was that like?
So the initial letter here is, sorry, I left it.
So the initial letter is when the first photos were taken, yes?
No, the initial letter is sent exactly 10 days after their first warning. So the initial letter took place, let's see.
Oh, May 12th.
Nope, May 12th. So 10 days prior to May 12th, that would have been around May 2nd or May 3rd. That's when the initial images were taken. It takes the abatement process through our system takes about 20 to 30 days of initial warning, 10 days of the first letter, another additional 10 days after the second letter, which is a final letter, and then we wait for our next council meeting to be able to bring it to council. So theoretically, this property owner has been working on his property now for about a month and a half. Yeah, granted that I will work with him one more month. This will also allow him to get permits to get another yard sale, as he went through his 3 continuous weekends for yard sale permits, and our fiscal year starts in July. So it'll allow him to get more yard sales as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Any public comments or questions? Okay, we'll bring it back for a vote.
I move we adopt number 2025, declaring an existence of a public nuisance under ordinance number 95-4.
I second it.
Okay. Roll call vote. Councilmember Pimentel,
Yes.
Councilmember Tomlinson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ball.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0.
Okay, item 10, regular business. A, approve fiscal year 25-26 annual budget as presented in the preliminary budget document. Item 1, adopt resolution number 2025 establishing fiscal year 25-26 GAN appropriations limit. Do I need to separate this from number 2?
Well, just at the end, we just want to make it clear that we're going to have to take 2 separate actions, but you don't have to read them now if you don't.
Okay.
Evening, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the Newman City Council. This first item, the GAN limit, basically what this is back in 1990, California State passed an initiative that limited the amount of money that the state, counties, cities, schools can appropriate from the taxes that they receive. The city of Newman, in our particular case, we're only going to be spending about $4 million of taxes, and based on our GAN limit calculation, we can appropriate up to $20 million. But we don't receive anywhere near that limit, so we actually have the benefit of being able to spend all of our money from property taxes on our residents. So that's basically all this limit does, is you're just approving the calculation.
Yeah, so we can go ahead and take action on item number 1.
Okay, item number 1, adopt resolution number 2025 establishing fiscal year 25-26 GAN appropriations limit. Do we have any public comments or questions? Any questions from the council? Okay. Need a motion to approve?
I move we adopt resolution number 2025, establishing fiscal year 2025-26 GAN appropriations limit.
I second it.
Okay, roll call vote. Councilmember Pimentel,
Yes.
Councilmember Tomlinson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ball.
Yes.
Item passes 3-0. Moving on to item A2.
Okay, item A2, adopt resolution number 2025, adopting the budget for fiscal year 25-26.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so the budget for a city is basically broken down into 4 different groups of funds. The first type is our general fund, of which we only have 1. The second group of funds is called our special revenue funds. Those are monies that have specific use tied to the revenue. So for example, if we get money from the state as a grant, we have to use it on that grant project. So there's restrictions on it. The next group of funds are called our enterprise funds. Those are 2 funds that we have, the water and sewer. And the reason why those are broken out separately is because they're supposed to be self-sufficient. So the revenues that come in from the utility rates are supposed to be enough to cover the operations of those funds completely, so we don't have to borrow from any place else. And then the last group of funds are our capital project funds. And those are monies that come in from developers. So when they put in a new house, we have to get money from them so that we can expand our facilities like water and sewer and our streets and roads to be able to provide services for that new property that they're putting in. So real briefly, we'll go through the budget. If you have a copy, we'll start off on pages 1 and 2. This is our staffing levels. The only reason why I bring this one up is you'll notice that our staffing has gone up by 9, and that's mostly because of our fire department has gained more volunteers, and that's all those are come from. So we're not expanding the number of additional full-time staff. It's just additional firefighters. Okay, and if we can look on page 5 and 6, this one is turned sideways. But basically, pages 5, 6, and 7 are the summary of each of our funds, revenues and expenditures, ending fund balance projected from all of our funds. And these are sorted in numerical order. So that in these pages, it's not broken out by each of the different fund types, just in order. So if you needed a quick reference to look and see how a particular fund is projected to do, that would be on those pages. So first off, let's take a look at our general fund. So on page 10, these are the revenues, and you can see we have a lot of revenue sources that come into our general fund, mostly property taxes and sales taxes. We also have like the use of assets. Those are like investments. We have money that comes from governmental sources. And then when we rent our facilities, we receive funds from that. And those all go into our general fund. Those are funds that we're able to use on whatever city thing we want to. They're very general. There's no restrictions on them at all. In this particular case, you can see we're looking at $7.6 million coming in this year, down at the very bottom, which is about a $600,000 increase over the prior year, which is good. If we flip over to the next page, pages 11 and 12, it's a really quick view of how those monies from our general fund are spent. The first page there, page 11, it's broken out by each of the departments. You can see in this particular case that police has a huge percentage of that, and it doesn't like Public Works has much of it. But a lot of Public Works expenditures are in the water and sewer funds. They spend a lot of time there. So it's not a general fund burden, but based on just general fund only, the police has the biggest portion of that. And then the next page, which is broken out by type, you can see that salaries and benefits are the greatest percentage. And the reason for that is because we're a service agency. We hire people to do work for our community. Okay, on page 14, these are, it's a summary of each of the departments in our general fund expenditures for this year. And then down below that is a history of our expenditures over the last few years. And you notice that we're budgeting $8.4 million, and that's actually more than we have coming in this particular year. Traditionally, we've done this. We've always had a budget deficit when we start the year. And the reason for that is because we budget expecting to pay the full amount for payroll. Not all of our employees take health care, and a lot of times we have empty spots, but we budget for those anyway. So in this particular case, we're short, I think, 2 or 3 employees currently. So at this point, we're not expending any money on that. And that will probably happen during the first couple of months of the year. And then as we bring in people, we've got the funds allocated for them. Historically, as there was a memo that was given to you guys when we received the budget, and it shows that even though we budget these deficits, historically over the last 5 years, we've been increasing in balance. And we currently have, as of the end of last year, a 51% reserve, which basically means we can go a little over 6 months without receiving any money in and still be able to maintain operations. So it's highly unlikely that would happen. Okay, so let's go to page 54. So this is the state grants. And this is one of our special reserve funds. And the only reason why I pointed this out is you can see the large number of grants that our departments have gone out and got from the state. We're looking at about $11 million still to come into the city, and we've got about $7.4 million that we've been approved to spend. The great thing about this is it's not coming out of our general fund, and we're able to get all these projects done, and we don't have to repay any of these monies. Okay, so let's turn to page 96. And these are our 2 enterprise funds, our water and sewer. Our water and sewer funds are both healthy, performing well. The revenues that we're charging are sufficient for the operations, and we've been able to keep up, for the most part, with those operations. We're looking at spending about $7.8 million. And then if you need to go through the details on each of those, on pages 100 and 104, it has the revenues listed from each of them and the expenditure breakdown. We're not seeing anything unusual this year on those funds, just regular operations as usual. And then lastly, on page 108 is a summary of our capital projects. In most of these cases, we're projecting a decrease in revenues coming in because the housing market's kind of slowed down. It's not building as fast as it was a couple of years ago. mostly, I believe, due to higher interest rates. People tend to shy away when the interest rates jump off, even though the houses may drop in value a little bit so that their monthly payments end up being about the same, but people tend to shy away when the interest rate goes up. That's pretty much it. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have on the budget.
I'll go first. I just have a comment. Excellent work as always, Lou. I reached out to a city council member who's with a city approximately double our size here in Stanislaus County, and I wanted to compare notes with them. And I apologize. Our reserve, if we were to double our reserve, we're doing better than that city, which is also a very well-run city. And our general fund is also on par in terms of, if we were to double that, like this city that's twice our size. So I just wanted to kind of gauge what another well-run city is doing. So again, appreciate your hard work, and it seems like everything's going very well as usual. Any other questions or comments from the council?
No.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the public? No? Okay. I'll bring it back to council. Item 10.2, adopt resolution number 2025, adopting the budget for fiscal year 25-26.
Second.
Shane will make the first.
No. I move to adopt resolution number 2025, adopting the budget for fiscal year 2025-2026.
I'll second.
Okay. Roll call vote. Councilmember Pimentel.
Yes.
Councilmember Tomlinson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ball.
Yes.
Item passes 3-0.
Thanks, Lou.
Thank you.
Item number 10B, adopt resolution number 2025, accepting a bid and awarding the contract to American Pavement Systems for the 2024 slurry seals project and authorizing the city manager to execute the agreement.
Good evening. We are said that this is sorry. And so we're asking for you to accept the bid from American Pavement Systems. They came in as the lowest responsive and responsible bid at approximately $367,645.36. It will be doing the slurry and seal project in primarily the north east part of. Do we have? There we go. The northeast part of Newman. Here, as you can see, the Sherman Parkway is on your north there, and Hills Ferry is on the southeast. And so these areas will be crack sealed and restriped as needed. And so we're, staff recommends accepting this bid, and the project construction costs will be coming from our SB1 fund. And I can answer any questions.
I just have one question. So the area on Main Street between Inyo and
Stanislaus.
Yes.
Stanislaus and Maine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Words.
Where divots, it goes down.
Yeah.
We actually have our, I'll discuss that later. We have those projects in queue with StanCog, and we have money. It's just at a later date.
Okay. Yes.
Well, I do have. Okay.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
So I was wondering. So this is just for sealing the cracks and repaint and the painting.
Yes.
Because I noticed in Sherman Park, Hills Ferry Road, there are huge divots that go down to next to some manholes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Will that stuff be addressed there?
Not with this one. And after, I can follow up with you after for that location.
Okay.
Look at those divots. Is it right before Sherman Parkway coming into town on Hills Ferry?
It's yes.
Yes,
What's that
right
road?
by the park.
Is it? It's right before the park.
Yeah, right by Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Okay. So, those ones may have been on the county side. I think recently got patched, but I'll follow up with you after.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
and get a location on that and have it and take a look at that.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions from the council?
So after this, or what will be the next area after this is done?
So I'll
Is that over like 6 months or a year?
So in the next item, I'll be talking about possible SB1 future projects, and I'll have a map on that for the next area that we would.
So this $367,000 is just for this 2 neighborhoods?
Yes. And yes. And it's based on, we take our PCI and pavement condition index, and the slurry and sill is best used for a road in like intermediate condition, not in the worst condition, and you don't do it to the best condition road. It's to help prolong the life of those areas that we crack sill and so this was identified. I drove pretty much this whole area and a lot of parts of the town based on our PCI index numbers, and picked an area that would most benefit from this project. And it does help to have a concentrated area instead of doing one section and then another section, another part of town, for various reasons. And depending on outcome from this project, we would then line up the next areas to do.
Okay, any other questions from the council? Any questions or comments from the public? All right, thank you, Thomas. Bring it back to council to approve item 10B.
I move we adopt Resolution 2025 accepting a bid and awarding the contract to American Pavement System Incorporated for the 2024 Slurry Seals project and authorizing the city manager to execute the agreement.
A second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote. Councilmember Pimentel?
Yes.
Councilmember Tomlinson?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ball?
Yes.
Okay. Item passes 3-0.
Okay, thank you. Oh, you get to go again.
Yeah, I get to go again. Good evening again.
Okay. Item 10C, adopt resolution number 2025, adopting a list of projects funded by SB1, the Road Repair and Accountability Act of 2017 for fiscal year 25-26.
Thank you. So this resolution is to list out project areas that we will use future SB1 funds for, and it's a requirement of this funding mechanism to submit annually a list of possible project areas. After consideration, and if it is to be adopted, this document, along with our projected project areas, will be uploaded by staff by July 1st. And then that will allow for the future funding for the next fiscal year. And so we have, this may look familiar, as we have used some of these areas in the past. And it's one of the, we project, we would like to do work in this area depending on our budget, on need of the area. And so in the last year, for example, the area of the duck line circle where we saw in the last resolution, the awarding the bid, it was an area possibly identified under it. And along with that, we can say various locations throughout town based on need. And additionally, as you can see on the screen, we have Mariposa Street, Tulare, Fresno Street, and Stanislaus, all identified as possible areas that we can use SB1 funding for. Additionally, we have identified in the southeast of town near, that's Bush Park right down that way. Thank you. Canyon Creek Drive, Sandy Creek Drive, that area has been identified as possible future areas for a slurry and sill like the area I just discussed. And so staff is recommending adopting this list of projects and authorizing us to upload it into the system.
Okay. Any questions from the council? Any questions? Oh,
I do have, I'm sorry.
No, I'm going too fast.
So just going back on the other map, T Street But T Street won't be, is not an area of concern right now, is that, or one that you're asking funds for or approval for?
That's correct.
Okay, it's only in between, okay. And I think the street that you mentioned, I'm sorry, that you mentioned, it's not on there either, right? So that must be a future.
That's
a future one, okay.
Yeah, so I think the question before was about Stanislaus and Maine.
Yeah.
And so as Michael mentioned, that we're trying to pull in money from the StanCog projects. That's part of that request.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Any questions or comments from the public? Okay, bring it back to council. Item 10D.
Move we adopt resolution number 2025, adopting a list of projects funded by SB1, the Road Repair and Accountability Act of 2017 for fiscal year 25-26.
Oh, I second it. Sorry. Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote. Councilmember Pimentel?
Yes.
Councilmember Tomlinson?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ball?
Yes.
Item passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Thomas. Okay, item 10D, second reading and adoption of ordinance number 2025, amending Title V zoning and accompanying zoning maps of the city of Newman in compliance with program 1.9 of the 6th cycle 23 to 31 housing element, and authorize staff to publish a summary of said ordinance.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. This item is the second reading, of which the first reading was conducted on May 24th. Program 1.9 of the housing element requires us to designate new sites. Some of them we've already done the general plan designation, but now we're finishing up the rezone. The properties that we have identified here, there's 8 of them that are going to be rezoned to R3. A couple of them are R1 right now and R2, and one's even C1 right now. It's all going to R3 to allow the development of more residential units in the city as per required by the state. These are the list or showing the sites on a citywide map. As you can see, there's a number of sites there listed on Prince Road. And we dial those in a little bit deeper. These are all sites going into rezone to R3. There's one on Hills Ferry, L Street, one by the railroad tracks, and then this one up on West Avenue, just west of T Street on Tulare there. And so we, again, this is a requirement of the state that we're moving through this process here. We did receive 2 phone calls from property owners, neither voiced opposition to their property being rezoned to R3. So it sounds like we do have the support of the property owners at this point in time. So with that, we're recommending that you conduct a second, we've already held the public hearing at the last meeting. So just conduct second reading and adoption of the ordinance. I can answer any questions that the council may have.
Any questions from the council? Any questions or comments from the public? Okay, we'll bring back item 10D for approval.
Move we adopt the second reading and adoption of ordinance number 25, amending Title V zoning and the accompanying zoning maps of the city of Newman in compliance with program 1.9 of the 6th cycle 2023-2031 housing element, and authorize staff to publish a summary of said ordinance.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote. Councilmember Pimentel?
Yes.
Councilmember Tomlinson?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ball?
Yes.
Okay. Item passes 3-0.
Okay, item 11, we do not have the District 5 supervisor here tonight. Item 12, any items from the city manager and or staff?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I don't know if I told you at the last meeting or if I sent it off in an email, but unfortunately, our Foster Farms request for community funding did not go through congressional representative this year. Last year, Congressman Dwart recommended that we get the $750,000 to clean up that site with the asbestos and the lead paint. Unfortunately, our new congressional representative did not move that forward for us. So we're going to be looking for a new process. So in the next 30 days, I'm just going to go ahead and prepare a request for proposals and see if we can't find private developer, private party to come in and take it as is and work with the city and look at, moving forward with developing that site. The overall goal is to do a multi-use kind of use where we'll have ground floor commercial, second floor residential, to try to extend our main street down from Merced Street where it kind of terminates right now, right? The Main Street improvements take that all the way down to Inyo. Which kind of parlays into some of the conversation we've had today about the condition of Stanislaus and Main, and we know it's in very poor condition, and our public works staff has been working with StanCog to receive funding to extend our Main Street improvements and to also fix the roads from the highway up Stanislaus past Main Street on there. So the whole goal is to revitalize that part of it and extend our Main Street improvements down that way and try to revitalize those next 2 blocks over there to do a larger investment.
Just follow-up question. So Congressman Gray's office wasn't able to put it forward or unwilling to put it forward?
They chose other projects in other communities.
Noted.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, unfortunately, some of those communities got multiple projects, so not sour at all. Wanted to follow up. So today we did 1.9 of the housing element. At our next meeting, we're going to start the process for program 1.2. Those will be some changes to our zoning code, and those again are going to be required by the state for us to move forward and continue to have a certified housing element. Our next planning commission meeting for this month will be canceled for lack of items on there. So with that, Mayor Pro Tem, I can answer any questions that the council may have.
No question.
Okay. Ally?
Evening once again. Just a reminder, we do have our farmers markets or downtown market every Friday in the month of June from the hours of 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. We are out there. The plaza closes a little bit earlier during those days to allow vendors to come in, set up, and it goes from 4 to 8, a little bit later sometimes. So we invite all of the community to come out there, check out our markets. We'll have an array of different things happening every single Friday. This Friday we'll have a DJ, salsa entertainment, and I can attest that the last Friday we will have a car show as well. And the second to last Friday we'll have folkloric dancing in our plaza as well. So a lot of different things, a lot of variation for our community to come out and check it out. Also, this is the last week for soccer signups. If anybody's interested in soccer signups, you guys know anybody that is wondering if we're still doing signups, we sure are. Friday will be our last day. And one final thing is we have our movie night. Our movie night is Saturday, June 21st. At Sherman Park. It's free to the whole community. It's under the stars, so we will be out in our Sherman Park. Have our snack bar ready to go with some goodies and items, and we invite all of the children and families to come out to our movie night community. Movie will start at dusk. It's any time that the sun officially goes down. With that, I can answer any questions that y'all may have.
Any questions? All right. Thank you, Ally.
You're welcome.
Sergeant. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. I typically like to have something to say when I get to come visit you guys, but I got nothing tonight. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Sergeant, you do have something that you might be recruiting for?
That's true. We are hiring, if anybody is interested, police officer applications and for recruits. So if anybody is interested in becoming a police officer and you want to get your education paid for and get paid at the same time, you can go to the city website and apply.
Thank you.
Sergeant Williams is, the city of Newman is looking to find a recruit that we can sponsor, and then we would support them as they go through the police academy. And so you don't have to already be a postgraduate. We'll sponsor you to send you through the police academy.
In that case, do they have to sign a contract for like a 2-year commitment or more than that? Or
we've worked with our legal, and some of that's not.
Okay. Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. Okay.
But we try to do our due diligence and select the right person.
Okay. Thanks, Sergeant. Lou, anything else tonight?
Oh, just real briefly, at the end of last month, the city upgraded their online bill payment system. The system, if you haven't tried it out, is actually really nice. Got some good features in it. It seems to be that the most popular feature is the automated payments system. So it's got some safety triggers in it, and this is the reason why we didn't do that in our previous software was because it didn't have this feature, is that you can set a limit. So like if, for example, you have a leak at your property and your bill's going to be abnormally large, you can set a limit so it will notify you that, hey, something happened, your bill's going to be very large. Do you still want to make the payment? Which is a great heads up. Also, the other nice feature is that the Express Bill Pay is an app that you can download from the Google Play Store or from Apple and have it on your phone so you can make payments. If you want to go completely paperless, that feature is on there so you can get your notifications and pay all through your cell phone. And it's got a great view of your water usage, very informative. And one of the main reasons why we switched over is because it allows us to expand later on to be able to do payments for business licenses, which will be put into place next year, and then also building permits. If we switch over our existing system to processing building permits within Springbrook, then we'll be able to take payments for that stuff online as well, along with scheduling and everything else. So it really expands our abilities.
I signed up for paperless, and I hope that we see that for payroll next, that option, because we currently don't have the option for pay stubs being paperless, correct?
Yeah, we do not have pay stubs. You'll still get your receipt,
Right.
direct deposit, but not the pay stubs.
Okay.
But Lou's thinking already.
Okay. Any questions for Lou?
No.
Okay. Thomas, anything else tonight?
If I may speak from over here, I wanted to show a couple pictures from the Jensen notice of completion item that was on consent calendar. If you take a look at this picture here, this is facing west towards Fig, and it's a nice road. You have the path on the right. Additionally to the overlay, we did do the water line we put in. You can't see that in the picture, of course, right? Mm-hmm. And then we have. This is facing Hills Ferry towards the east, and then this is a better view of the path here. If you have any questions on the pictures, I can answer those to you. And then I have a couple other items to talk about. We're currently working on our safety action plan with Tool. They're our consultant. And we're starting that process up. So we're looking for stakeholders, community input internally. We have staff from each department already volunteered to participate, and along with reaching out to the school, to the superintendent, along with requesting that we contact, if we can get in contact with. First student, the bus company, because it will help us have input in the development of this Safe Streets for All safety action plan. Additionally, we restarted work with Tool on our originally called T Street Corridor project. It's now we're calling it like Newman corridors because there's multiple. And to address the question you had earlier about T Street, this. T Street Corridor Plan will help, with that plan in place, will help us secure funding sources in the future to do various improvements along the T Street Corridor. And so that will help us secure grant funding or help make our applications for those funding sources more appealing. And then I can answer any questions that you guys might have.
Any questions for Thomas? No? All right, thank you. Okay, items from city council members. Councilmember Pimentel.
Well, I have a couple things to share. One, Westside Theater, I just went to one of their board meetings. They did elect 3 new board members on there, so they're moving forward with, I'm sure you guys remember that Dave and Ferris are leaving, so they're slowly transitioning to that, so they started that process. And I also went to the reopening of the Newman Library. I took my granddaughter Mila with me so we could check it out. They had new paint, new carpeting, and what else? Oh, they're ADA compliant with a few things there too. So I'm glad to see it was a huge turnout. So that was really nice. So yeah, go out and support our local library.
Okay. Thank you. Councilmember,
Nothing.
I almost called you Hardin Tomlinson.
Nothing.
Nothing? Okay. Lou, thanks again. Please share our gratitude with your staff who also work diligently on the budget year-round, but mostly at these times of the year. And to the public, if anyone's listening out there, we have more and more dogs at our shelter that need fostering and or adopting, so please consider. We did recently, and it's worked out great. That's all I have. Can I get a motion for adjournment, please?
Move we adjourn.
I second.